Let's take a really simple approach to playing the guitar, and I'm going to suggest to you that you think about this. When you were a child, when you were a little tiny baby, you learned to walk, and you started off crawling, and then you toddled and you held on to things, and before you knew it you could walk across the floor a few steps, and pretty soon you were running around the house, and now look at you, you're going everywhere without thinking about it at all. So what was happening then was your brain and your muscles were learning to talk to each other, and you don't even think about it, it just happens. You simply did it every day, probably as much as you possibly could. Well, with the guitar it's very simpler. It's very similar. Your fingers are just learning to walk up and down the fretboard, and this hand here is learning to time its plucking with the movements of this hand over here, so that at the end of the day they're working together just like your two legs work together. They don't work separately, they work in beautiful harmony, and your brain is up there orchestrating the whole thing without you even thinking about it. So the main thing to do with guitar, have fun, do it every day. 15 minutes twice a day is a really good idea. Pick up the guitar. Don't, kill yourself if you are getting bored and it's starting to bother you or other people around you. Try to find a way to make it enjoyable and keep the guitar in tune, make a nice sound. Remember that other people do have to listen to you, and that's really what music's all about. At the end of the day, you're there to try to make a nice, pleasant sound. So when you hear a guitarist do something rather quickly, you might think, well, that's really clever, but really it's just, and it's sped up, you just go much faster. So anyway, let's just start off with a very simple exercise. Here's an E major chord, here's an A minor chord. It's the same shape, you'll notice, just over one group of strings. So with the E major chord and one thumb and one finger, we're just going to go. This is a sort of an arpeggio, which means you just hold a chord with this hand and you're plucking with the other hand. It's very simple, we speed it up, it sounds really interesting and impressive and all that. But remember, the secret is to have fun, get your brain, your muscles just talking to each other, do it every day. Don't, kill yourself with pressure to try to sound amazing. Learn how to crawl, learn how to toddle, learn how to walk a few steps, and then away you go. But don't, try to not focus on sounding really cool, because it'll take you some time. A child doesn't, before it can learn to walk, enter a long distance race or anything like that. Just take your time, have fun, do it every day. Thank you very much.